And noticing as we're sitting or lying here, how the breath is moving gently through the body all by itself with no effort. How the whole body's breathing. And perhaps allowing our attention to rest in the belly for a few moments as we connect to the in-breath and the out-breath, how it feels. And remembering when we do a body scan that we're not trying to create any particular sensation or experience, more having a willingness to show up for what we're noticing in the body. Just practicing moving our attention through the body, showing up for each part, opening up gently to what's there. And bringing a warm, kind glow of attention now down from the belly, down the legs, and then landing in the feet. And gently opening up to any sensations that you might notice in your feet. Or any sensations in the toes or the spaces between the toes. The soles or the heels of the feet. The sides or the tops of the feet. Perhaps noticing the connection with feet and the ground, with clothing, with socks, with shoes, and what that feels like. And any little tingles or throbs or aches or glows or pangs or twangs. Any feelings of heat or coolness. Anything at all. And if you notice in this moment, there's not so many sensations in the feet, then you can just register a blank. Oh, there's not much going on in my feet in this moment. How does it feel to not feel much in my feet? And perhaps bringing our curiosity and interest into the ankles and all these little bones and joints that are connecting these hard-working feet to the rest of the body. How does it feel to have ankles? What can you notice in this moment? And noticing if the mind drifts away from the ankles, perhaps you find you're lost in thinking or analysing, planning or remembering. And seeing if you can just gently name where you found yourself in this little moment of distraction without any need to judge. Remembering this is just what minds do. They drift, we notice, and we bring them back. So maybe naming if you were in the future is here, or in the past is here. or remembering is here, or planning is here. And then gently returning back to the ankles or the part of the body that your attention and awareness is resting in. And taking in the whole of the ankles and the feet now, breathing into this area, feeling the breath trickling down through the ankles, around the feet, through the toes and out into the space surrounding the feet and the ankles. And then bringing our attention now into the lower legs, just gently moving up the body and taking in this area of the body all the way up to the knees. Perhaps noticing clothing touching the envelope of the skin. Noticing any sensations of touch or contact with the surfaces that the legs are resting in. Any feelings of warmth or coolness, or anything else you can notice. In the calves, the shins, the sides of the legs, the tops and the backs of the legs, the muscles, the bones, the skin. Noticing the tops of the lower legs as we move gently into the knees and the area around the knees, the hard bony kneecaps, the soft behinds of the knees, the sides of the knees, and the insides of the knees. How is it now, this complex joint that normally enables us to move and stretch? How is it to feel it now it's still? What can you notice? I'm noticing how the upper parts of the legs are being experienced in this moment by you. What can you feel in the thighs, or the tops, or the backs of the legs, the sides of the legs? And expanding our attention to take in the whole of the lower part of the body now, from the tip of the toes all the way up to where the legs join the pelvis. So breathing into the legs, just allowing the breath to trickle down into the toes and out through the skin, into the area surrounding the legs. And then moving up into the middle part of the body now, and inhabiting the pelvis and the organs that are cradled within the pelvis. And getting a sense of any sensations in this area around the hips and hip bones, around the lower back and the belly. Noticing if there's any softness or tightness or bubbling or movement perhaps of the breath. Any little aches. And becoming aware of any emotions that are present or stories that arise as we pop into each part of the body, resting there. And seeing if we can direct our attention to the direct experience of sensation time and time again. Just allowing things to be as they are. I'm noticing the ribs and the rib cage, and the sides of the torso. And remembering when we're practicing the body scan, as we gently move into each body part, that we are always the experts of our experience. So if at any point we feel we don't feel like visiting a part of the body, we can just skip over it or have a little rest from the practice and join back in when we feel like it. So giving ourselves complete permission to take good care of ourselves as we practice. And noticing how it feels in the chest area. It's the area that houses the great vessels of the bloodstream, the heart, the lungs. Taking in any sensations that are there to be felt. Perhaps noticing the expanding and contracting of the chest, for example, and what that feels like as it moves against the clothing that we're wearing, or any other sensations that are there. When the mind wanders, gently bringing it back, with no need to judge, just escorting it back to the chest and what you can feel in this moment. And noticing as we're sitting here or lying here, how beautifully supported the body is by the spine, by the muscles that are supporting the spine. And taking in the whole area of the back, getting a sense of which parts of the back you're experiencing. Perhaps you can feel connection with the back of the chair or the floor or whatever the surface is you're leaning against. And maybe gently working up the back, vertebra by vertebra, taking in each part. And reaching the top of the back, sensing into the back of the neck, noticing any sensations or consternations of sensations around the shoulders and the shoulder blades. And if you're experiencing any areas of tightness, just noticing how it feels to take the breath, direct the breath gently into those areas of tightness. So breathing into these areas, maybe allowing the breath to soften a little around the edges, and then breathing out and riding out on the crest of the wave of the out breath, feeling the releasing that comes every time we breathe out. Noticing the sides of the torso and how the arms are connecting. Perhaps if they're by our sides, noticing what that touch is like. Any sensations in the softer parts of the tops of the arms or the insides of the arms. Moving into the elbows. And noticing the lower arms, the backs, the fronts, the palms of the hands. The fingers, the thumbs, and the spaces between the fingers and thumbs. Noticing how it is to land in the hands and rest here for a while. Just rest our attention on how it feels to have hands in this moment. Perhaps noticing how our attention can be narrow and also can be wide, Perhaps for a moment, just taking in the whole of the body from the neck down, breathing into torso, the back, the arms, to the pelvis, the belly, the buttocks, the legs, the knees, the feet. And breathing out through the skin into the space surrounding the body. And then moving now into the face, getting a sense of how the face and the head are feeling in this moment. Any sensations that are particularly alive. Perhaps inhabiting the jaw for a moment, just checking in. What can you feel in your jaw? Maybe even inviting the jaw to be soft. Noticing the chin. And bringing our awareness to the mouth, to the lips, to the teeth, the gums, the tongue, to any taste that may be there, or any dryness or moisture. And feeling the breath for a moment in the nostrils, just as we're breathing in and breathing out. Just noticing if there's any sensation around the upper lip or in the nostrils. As the cooler in-breath enters the nostrils, the warmer breath is exhaled. And bringing awareness to the rest of the nose, the bridge of the nose, and to the cheeks and the cheekbones. And noticing the ears, any sensation around the ear area, as well as anything that we may be receiving through the ears, any sounds that are drifting in, drifting out. And bringing awareness to the eyes, to the eyeballs, the eyelashes, eyelids. Eyebrows. To any patterns of light or colour or shadows or shapes behind the closed or the open eyelids. And then moving into the temples and the forehead. Noticing any sensations there, any feelings. tightness or lightness or softness or aches, coolness or warmth. In the top of the head and the side of the head and the back of the head. And breathing into the face and the head and noticing how much space there is in the face as we breathe in and breathe out through the skin into the space around us. I'm taking in the whole of the body now, from the tip of the toes all the way up to the top of the head. Sensing into the whole of this miraculous body, resting in space, surrounded by space, with a spacious awareness. And perhaps taking a moment to appreciate all our bodies do that's right for us, day after day, and moment after moment. Perhaps also taking a moment to appreciate this precious time that we've made for ourselves to connect body and mind, and the benefit that we will have gained from making that time, taking that moment, and how that will also be benefiting all who come in contact with us. And just perhaps beginning to wriggle fingers or toes as the bell begins to ring. Perhaps you notice that you would benefit from rolling shoulders or stretching out on the ground or on the chair,